Welcome into the Daily Score. I am Mark Grote, and I feel like you get to head into your weekend with a little bit of closure. It's perfect the way things have gone from the weekend where Justin Fields was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then shortly thereafter, Wednesday, everybody's going to SoCal to see Caleb Williams, the presumed number one pick and presumed future quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So, what a week, man. Deep breath. I'll actually be on as a little promo. I will be on tonight from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. on the Score, mostly talking Bears. The first hour is on the clock from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m., and it's completely focused on the Bears and the draft, and we'll have a couple of great guests that will be on tonight. So if you guys are diehards and you need some Bears in your Friday night as you're driving around, I got you because I love this stuff as much as you guys do. One person who actually, speaking of closure, as we're talking about everybody getting their reactions into Justin Fields, DJ Moore, Bears superstar wide receiver, whom they collected last year in Poles' trade of the number one overall pick. DJ Moore coming off an excellent season with Justin Fields. He has been very supportive of Justin Fields anytime that he has been asked about Fields. So he was on Mully and Haugh today and discussed a variety of topics, but his reaction to Justin Fields' trade was first and foremost.
But it happened, and that's the business of it all. So I know we're going to continue to do good things over there in Pittsburgh, and we're just going to start over here with a new quarterback. So I'm looking forward to it.
You tweeted out business is business, and I think everybody understood what you meant because it wasn't something that the Bears probably wanted to do because of the popularity of Justin Fields and the future that he has ahead of him. From a football perspective, though, you said you're kind of excited about it. There is some unknown, but obviously Caleb Williams looks like he's going to be there. He had his pro day yesterday. Curious how closely you followed that, and is that the part that is somewhat exciting?
I really haven't been keeping up with it because I've been in daddy mode and family mode. So, but whoever we get, I'm going to be excited to work with him. And like I said, business is business. Nobody wanted him to go, but at the end of the day, that's what the organization made the plans to do. So we're just going to go with that.
I'm curious, DJ, what were your thoughts when you heard Keenan Allen being traded to the Bears for a fourth-round pick? That is real. That was a real stunner, and maybe the most surprising thing was fourth-round pick. That is a pretty good acquisition for a fairly modest return.
Yeah, I was excited when I seen it and heard about it. I was like, ooh, now we got more weapons for this run that we want to make in 2024 with winning games.
What do you know of Keenan Allen? Do you know him personally, and how do you guys complement each other? Because stylistically, that could be something that could be great for the Bears' passing game. I
don't know him personally. I'll probably get to know him over the time that we do OTAs and everything. So looking forward to that. But his game has spoke for it all. He's a savvy route runner. He sets people up and make them look silly out there. So I'm looking forward to learning from him.
So DeAndre Swift joins the Bears backfield, and I saw a reference to your connection with him going back to Philly. You guys had a similar – you were from the same area, and you can fill us in on the rest because it seems like you guys are already friends and you've already spoken to DeAndre about coming to Chicago.
Yeah, so we grew up together. We worked out together and stuff like that, and I just been following him ever since – he was younger. Younger. But now to see him on the same team is great because we played 7-on-7s and we won championships together. So it's going to be amazing.
So, DJ, you might not have seen yesterday, but how much do you know about Caleb Williams, the quarterback, and what that might mean to the Bears if you take him and put him into the equation? And how hard would it be for a rookie to come into a locker room to replace a guy who was as popular as Justin Fields was?
I seen film on him. Watched him a few times on the games that I seen on TV. He was out there downing people up, and so I'm excited that he does that. And if we get him, I hope he just comes in and just get ready to work. And you can't really worry about the legacy of Justin Fields. You just got to go out there and do your own thing.
So when you look at the coaching staff, it's changed too. What is your familiarity with Shane Waldron, if you have any at all? Do you do research on things like that? And any of the other new coaches that are being added to the staff, do you have any sort of shared past with?
I haven't really. I watched some Seahawks offensive highlights and stuff like that to see how ours is going to be. But, Shane is probably going to put his little touch on it on the offense that we're going to run. And then the receiver coach we got he coached me in college, and I know he did a great job out there with the Chargers with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Does it matter on this team as Keenan Allen comes with all of his catches, over 900, and all of his yards in his career? Does it matter who the number one wide receiver is on the Bears?
Oh, no, it doesn't really matter to me. I know we both talked about how we're just going to compliment each other. So I'm just looking forward to that. Whoever good, it might be a race to 1,000, but that's just a friendly competition. But at the end of the day, if we win it, and whoever catching the ball, I don't really care.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, you're the number one receiver. There's no battle about that. He's kind of at a point in his career where he's coming in to help out with a third down catch for you and to get you more catches in space, etc. It should work out very well.
Yeah, it should. So, like I said, we're probably going to compliment each other, Yeah, we're going to see. I can't give y'all too much about what we talk about.
That is good stuff with Mully and Haugh and DJ Moore. I had lots of reaction. First of all, the end there, with all due respect to Mully, I don't think that Keenan Allen is there to complement and be the third down guy. He's a great third down receiver, but this is a guy who had over 1,200 yards in 14 games last year? Not even. So, no, he's coming to do business, and those are a pair of number ones on that team. As great as DJ Moore was, it is going to be fun to watch those two guys together. Here's the other thing, too. DJ Moore is a smart, veteran, mature human being in that locker room. He knows how to support quarterbacks. He knew how to support Justin Fields, and he will know how to support Caleb Williams. He was one of those guys who was always – I don't get why is anybody questioning Justin Fields. He had a good year with him, but you saw how quickly and professionally he was able to pit. Business is business. It's just business. So that's what I expected out of him. I needed to hear that from him just because of how steadfastly supportive he was of Justin Fields. But yeah, man, just as I predicted, assuming Caleb Williams doesn't come in and, he's not like a jerk or some horrible locker room person that we didn't know about, it's going to be fine in that locker room. He will be supported, and they'll still like Justin Fields. And when they see Justin Fields, they'll hug him and love him, and maybe he'll even have a triumphant return to Soldier Field at some point in time. The other thing I think is interesting when he was asked about Shane Waldron, because I always got the feeling that while he never disrespected Luke Getsy, and I think obviously Luke Getsy helped DJ Moore to have an excellent season, but I felt like Getsy wanted more, that DJ Moore wanted more from Getsy, more from the offense. So we'll see if Shane Waldron can prepare that for him. So that was DJ Moore and his reaction on the Mully and Haugh show on The Score. One other guy that I want you to hear from is Bucky Brooks. He is a draft analyst for the NFL Network. He was on the Bernstein and Holmes show with Layla Rahimi filling in, and they got into a really good discussion, and this is very poignant because of what the Bears are about to embark upon, and that is evaluating and developing quarterbacks. As a matter of fact, Bucky Brooks told the show that or why the NFL evaluation and development of young quarterbacks has been a problem.
The National Football League has done a disservice to a lot of the young quarterbacks entering the league because the standards that we have for quarterback are old standards, meaning we expect young quarterbacks to come in the league and understand all the complexities of playing the pro game. We give them limited grace, and we expect them to do it with or without a supporting cast that can really helped him flourish. And so when you think about only 2 quarterbacks in the last 2-3 classes are starters for their original teams, and most of those other quarterbacks have gone elsewhere, there's something wrong with the system. And so we can blame the players and say that, hey, they can't do this and that, but the players can only do what they've been coached to do from high school and college. It is really incumbent on the league to figure out how to take those talents and maximize those talents while they're teaching them the pro game. And I feel like there's too much rigidity in how coaches are adapting to these young quarterbacks that have played in spread systems, that have been dual threat playmakers, that have done things that are different than the traditional old school system. And I also think that we haven't given young players enough time to either learn the game on the sideline or to play through their mistakes before we make these quick decisions on whether they can play or not in our league.
You're right where I am. My theory on it is that we're now, I think, probably in the middle of the kids that grew up in spread in high school and college are now making their way to the NFL. And I don't know if the coaching staffs have adapted to make room for that, that there might be some things that these young men have to learn when it comes to a pro-style offense that they maybe didn't because they were the best athlete in the city, the county, maybe even the state, and they were playing quarterback. I'd love to know, what would you do? What would be one of the things that you would ask coaches to do to marry some of the pro-style game to these kids that are coming up that are more in spread offenses?
Yeah, so like some of this comes from like coaching high school ball. When you coach high school ball, you gotta kind of coach up what shows up. And so you have to have enough flexibility in your mind to be able to look at a player and say, okay, like he's really limited in this phase, but what can we do with what he brings us to give our team a chance to win? So does that mean that we have to do more RPOs? Does that mean that maybe the quarterback has to get on the perimeter and maybe run some? Does that mean that we have to kind of tweak and change our emphasis from being maybe a vertical team to being a quick rhythm team that uses horizontal plays and crossing routes to get the ball out of his hands and give him easy completions? You have to have a more creative mind. And one of the things why like people love the college game is a little bit of the diversity in terms of thought, in terms of how people approach it, what they're able to do. I believe that it's a trickle-up theory. The game goes from the lower levels to the top in terms of the imagination, the creativity. Think about what Andy Reid does. Andy Reid looks at all of these college games, and he implements things that he sees in the college game to a pro game, and he has arguably the best quarterback that we've seen in Patrick Mahomes. It has to require – we have to be able to think outside of the box in that. The other part of it has to be the development part of the process. So we draft these quarterbacks high, and then the fan bases are like, we got to get them on the field. We got to make sure that we're maximizing the rookie contract and the clock. And that's nice in like a discussion, but that shouldn't be the reality. It shouldn't be just about the rookie contract. It should be, how can we make this guy the best player? Is he ready to play? If he's not ready to play, we shouldn't do it. So if we look up to Green Bay, and having played in Green Bay, I kind of know what the organization thinks. One, they draft a quarterback before they need a quarterback. So now they don't feel the pressure to put the quarterback on the field. So that quarterback sits, he waits, he learns, he plays in preseason, he practices, he sees the leader do it. And then after 2 and 3 years, they're ready to play. And lo and behold, they go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, and they all have hit. Because from an organizational standpoint, it's a philosophy in terms of how we get our young quarterbacks ready to play. I think more people need to adopt a more patient approach that gives you an opportunity to have success.
Great stuff right there from Bucky Brooks of the NFL Network on the Bernstein and Holmes show on The Score with Layla Rahimi filling in. I mean, it's tough. I don't even know if I agreed with what he said. Like, my gut is, for the most part, you either have what it takes to do this job or you don't, to some degree. Now, coaching is hugely important, but I do think that it is very player dependent. I don't know that many players have actually gotten screwed by the system because talent always rises its way to the top. But, you know, I will say that there have been guys that were headed towards Bustville that did manage to reclaim their careers to some degree. Baker Mayfield comes to mind. Geno Smith, obvious. Alex Smith is a guy who, as a former number 1 overall pick, did not look like he was it. And I don't think he ever actually lived up to what we thought, but he was able to get it going. I think that Ryan Tannehill is an example of a guy who was very well hyped and then took some time to get it right. Hell, if you want to go back, I was laughing at this one, Jim Harbaugh back in the day, Bears quarterback, and then seemed like a flop, but then went to Indianapolis and was able to reclaim some of his quarterbacking career there. So, yeah. And then, I mean, look, it'd be ideal if you could have a guy sit on the sidelines for a while. Bears tried to do that with Mitch. They tried to do that with Justin Fields. For some reason, it's just not as tenable now. And I do think a lot of it is the rookie contract, as Bucky referred to. And, he said that was nice and all, but that is a reality of what's going on. And then there's the part too where people just want to see it. Like, maybe he is the next CJ Stroud or the next Dan Marino or just a rookie that just takes off and blows it all up completely in the good way. So it's just so tantalizing when you have a quarterback prospect that part of me doesn't. It's an inexact science. It's almost like throwing a baseball and pitchers. It's so inexact in terms of what keeps them healthy, what makes them progress, what makes them successful. And I don't think we found it yet. But that was really good insight from Bucky Brooks right there. Good stuff from DJ Moore on this episode. I think we're going to wrap it up right there. Hope you guys all have a great weekend. Again, I'll be on the score tonight, 6 to 9, talking a lot of Bears. For our executive producer, Ray Diaz, I'm Mark Grote for the Daily Score.